Hey guys, this is fresh off of recording my Flyers deck list. I figured I would try and just shoot another video to get up for you guys since it's been a while that I was posting them. If you guys don't like this style, please let me know. If I notice that people really aren't watching it or if it doesn't look like it's getting a lot of attention, I will update this and put it on Moxfield, and then I could do one like I normally do where I go down the deck list. But I wanted to show off this deck because I played it today and I remembered how fun this was. So my friend, about 6 months ago, a year ago, got this Tymna and was talking about how he really wanted to build a deck for it. He just never had an idea. He always wanted someone in our play group to play Tymna. So I ended up making a Staxy list and trying to do something like that. I ended up not enjoying it, so I ended up changing it to Kamahl, Heart of Krosa, to try out. I call it just a beatdown deck. So Tymna, in case you guys don't know, is colorless, 1 black, human cleric, 2/2 lifelink. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may pay X for X's number of opponents that were dealt combat damage, and you can draw a card. Sorry, someone messaged me rudely. It has partner, so I chose Kamahl. Kamahl, Heart of Krosa, is 6 colorless, 2 green, pretty high CMC. Human druid that at the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until the end of turn. He's a 5/5, but you can pay a colorless and a green until the end of turn. Target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature token with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. It's still a land, and it has the partner. So the goal of me building this deck when I was going through it was to use Tymna to be able to farm to get more creatures out, use Kamahl to help finish out the game. All the cards in this deck are mostly creatures. They're not only creatures, but that's what I tried to go for, is creatures that have flying, creatures that can get through, creatures that can deal a decent amount of damage and really get in there. So I didn't sort this through, but I figured I would hit on these real quick. I am running 32 lands. I do have some proxies in this deck, but I own all the cards, so I run just some generic good cards that make sense for the deck, the triomes, and I do run the nice, sexy versions of these cards for the shock lands. In general, you just want to make sure you have enough of your colors. I run a large amount of Monodorks, so 32 lands is plenty for a deck like this. But basic strategy, like I said, is to ramp out Kamahl when you get the chance, but to build up a big board before that so that you can start beating people's faces. So that's why I run for the basic lands. And we'll start going through the creatures. I'll kind of hit on them one at a time. Dauthi Voidwalker, 2 black. Dauthi Rogue, creature, 3/2 with shadow, so it can't be blocked or block creatures unless they have shadow. If a card be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, it is exiled instead of the void counter. You can tap, sack Dauthi. You could cast that card without paying its mana cost. Any of the ones with the void counters. So it's a low to the ground creature that is unblockable, does a decent amount of damage, and has versatility. So that's what I tried to do with well, I got 2 of those in that deck. That's cool. Anyway, that's what I tried to do with the deck, is I tried to make these versatile creatures that can get through or that do something else. And if not, they're Monodorks to try and ramp out the other ones. So we have Werebear, one of my favorite Monodorks. He's just a 2-drop that can tap for green, but he has Threshold. So if there's 7 or more cards in your graveyard, he's a 4/4. So pretty good. Skyclave Apparition, 1 colorless, 2 white, Core Spirit, 2/2. When it ETBs, exile a non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with mana value or mana cost 4 or less. And then when this leaves the battlefield, that person gets a XX blue illusion creature token where X is the converted mana cost. It's a good effect to get rid of something that's annoying you, and it's also a low to the ground creature. Fiend Artisan, hybrid black and green. It's a Nightmare 1/1. It gets +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard, and you could pay colorless, a hybrid black or green, tap, sack another creature, search for a creature with X or less, put it on the battlefield, can activate only as a sorcery. So it's good for getting out a better creature if you have one like Skyclave and you want to get something more meaningful. Remorseful Cleric, 1 colorless, 1 white. Spirit Cleric, flying 2/1. You can sack it to exile cards from a player's graveyard. Dragonlord Dromoka, 4 colorless, green, a white. Elder Dragon, 5/7. Can't be countered. It's flying, lifelink, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. So this is really nice if you're going to get Kamahl out and then you're going to go to town and do some stuff. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. They're not going to be able to do much about you coming in with an army of beaters. Incubation Druid is just 1 colorless, 1 green. Elf Druid, it can tap, add 1 mana of any color. If it's got a 1/1 counter on it, you get 3, which you can adapt it, but it's a decent mana dork. Caustic Caterpillar, 1 green. Insect, 1/1. You could pay 1 green, sack it to blow up an artifact or enchantment. Alseid of Life's Bounty, 1 white. Enchantment creature, Nymph, 1/1 lifelink. You could pay 1, sack it, and give a creature protection from the color of your choice. Worldly Tutor, just 1 green, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it on top. There's a lot of good versatile creatures like the next one. Esper Sentinel, 1 white, artifact human soldier, 1/1. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell, each turn draw a card unless they pay X, where it's Esper's power. Mentor of the Meek, 2 colorless, 1 white. Whenever human soldier 2/2. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under control, you can pay 1. If you do, draw a card. Got a lot of low to the ground creatures, a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s. So you're going to be able to pay that extra, draw an extra, and put another creature out, which is the whole point. Arboreal Grazer, another one of my favorite cards. 1 green, Beast, Reach, 0/3. When it ETBs, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Just a good versatile card. Good blocker, and with Kamahl's buff, it becomes a 3/6. Cathar Commando, 1 colorless, 1 white, human soldier flash, 3/1. You could pay 1, sack it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Ranger Captain of Eos, 1 colorless, 2 white, human soldier, 3/3. When it ETBs, search your library for a creature card with Chimera mana cost 1 or less, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle, and then you can sack it to stop your opponents from being able to cast non-creature spells until the end of this turn. This is really good for getting out something like, I can't remember the card's name. There's plenty of good 1-drop creatures that are good in here. There's just mana dorks, there's creatures that actually do more meaningful things, and there's Serra Ascendant, which is one I was trying to remember, that a lot of times is just going to help you gain so much life. Chrome Mox, it is 1 colorless. You can imprint a card, and then this can tap for 1 mana of any of the colors of the card exiled. The card that is exiled. Scavenging Ooze, 1 colorless, 1 green, Ooze, 2/2. You could pay 1 green, exile a card from a graveyard. If it's a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze, and you gain 1 life. It's nice to be able to just remove things if you know a person's going to be getting them back out in the future. It's good for interaction for when someone goes to get something out, and it's a creature. So it's pretty much what we're going for. We got Solitary Foot Soldier. It is 1 white. It's a 1/1 soldier with shadow. So that's the only reason it's in here. Vampire Nighthawk, 1 colorless, 2 black, vampire, shaman, 2/3 flying, death touch, and lifelink. Healer Hawk, another one of my favorite cards when I first started playing. Healer Hawk's 1 white, bird, flying, lifelink, 1/1. That's all. Just a versatile card. In its abilities, not in what it does. It does one thing. Saheeli, Salai, Voice of Plenty. I don't know how to read. 3 colorless, 1 white, legendary creature, angel, flying, 3/4. You, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof. You can also pay 6 to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, but really it's in there for the protection. Eternal Witness, 1 colorless, 2 green, human shaman. When it ETBs, you could return a card from your graveyard to your hand. It's a 2/1. This is the promo that I received. I don't know how well this is coming out on the camera. I assume not well, but this is the promo that we received recently for the new set dropping, so had to make sure it went in here. Reclamation Sage, 2 colorless, 1 green, elf shaman, 2/1. ETBs, blow up target artifact or enchantment. Mother of Runes. Mom is 1 white. You could tap it, give a creature protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. It's good for helping get a creature through. It's also just good protection. Speaking of protection, Heroic Intervention. 1 colorless, 1 green. Permanents you control have hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. One of the best protection spells that exist. This is what it is. Vargaroth, Blood Sky Sire. 2 colorless, 1 black, legendary creature, demon rogue, 2/3 with death touch. And you can boast him, and if you boast him, target player searches their library for a card, reveals it, and then put it on, or doesn't reveal it, I'm sorry. I mean, I guess they could reveal it if they want, but they put it on top of their library. So this is nice if you want to give someone else a card because you know that they have something to be able to help, but most of the time you're going to choose yourself. Timeless Witness, 2 colorless, 2 green, human shaman, 2/1 that ETBs returns a card from your graveyard to your hand and has Eternalize. Malakir Rebirth, 1 black, choose target creature, you lose 2 life until the end of turn. When that creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. On the back side, it is also a tapped land. That's all. So, another one of those cards that's just versatile. Draw it early and you need a land, play it as a land. If not, then it's a really good protection spell for later. Lotus Petal, colorless, tap it, sack, add 1 mana of any color. Finhorn Elves, it's a 1/1 elf druid that can tap for green. My favorite card in this deck, which is actually one that helped me win the game I just played earlier, Starlight Spectacle, 2 colorless, 2 white, enchantment that has Parade. So at the beginning of combat in your turn, choose creatures you control 1 at a time until everyone's been chosen. Each of those creatures gets +1/+1 until the end of turn for each chosen before it. So essentially, if you have 5 creatures out, one of them is going to get 0/0, then it's going to get 1/1, 2/2, 3/3, which is really nice with Kamahl because Kamal's already giving them +3/+3 and Trample. So you're going to have a big board of swingers, which is exactly what I was able to do. Opposition Agent, 2 colorless, 1 black, human rogue, flash 3/2. If an opponent searches their library, you get to control them while they do. That card goes into exile. You may play it for as long as it remains exiled and spend mana as though we're mana of any color. Just another versatile, helpful control kind of card that is mainly in there because you need creatures, but it also does a good thing. Eladamri's Call, 1 green, 1 white, instant, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle. Devoted Druid, 1 colorless, 1 green, human elf druid, tap for green. You could put a -1 counter to untap it. It's a 0/2. Quizali Pride Mage is green, white, cat wizard 2/2 with Exalted, and you could pay 1, sack it, and destroy target artifact or enchantment. As you can tell, we don't run a lot of instant speed, so we run a lot of creatures that are kind of like, hey, they exist. I don't want to blow your stuff up because I want to swing with this creature. But if I need to, I will. Scourged Villager, 1 colorless, 1 green, human werewolf that taps for green, and at the beginning of each end step, if no spells were cast, it flips. It goes from a 1/1 that taps for 1 green into a werewolf vigilance 2/2 that taps for 2 green. And at the beginning of each end step, if the player casts 2 or more spells, it flips back. So just a mana dork that has the chance to be better if we need it. Avacyn's Pilgrim, 1 green, taps for 1 white. It's a 1/1 human monk. Archivist of Ogma, 1 colorless, 1 white, halfling cleric 2/2 with flash. If an opponent searches the library, gain a life, draw a card. Arcane Signet, 2, tap it, give you 1 of any color of your commander's color identity. Ornithopter of Paradise, 2 colorless, Thopter 0/2 flying that taps for 1 mana of any color. Kijali's Sunwing, 2 colorless, 1 white, dinosaur 2/3 flying, creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So again, same thing, it's kind of like a control piece that we mostly want to be able to swing with, but it's there because it does something good. Rumor Gatherer, 1 colorless, 2 white, elf wizard 2/1 with Alliance. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under control, scry 1. If it's the second time, draw a card. Mana Gorger Hydra, 2 colorless, 1 green Hydra 1/1 with Trample. One of the cards that just kind of sits there, but whenever a player casts a spell, it gets a 1/1 counter. So this thing can get really out of control, especially with a couple buffs to help it out. This could be a 1-person knockout. Sol Ring, 1 for 2 mana. Hope of Girapurt, it is 1 colorless, legendary artifact creature Thopter 1/1 flying. You could sack it until your next turn. Target player who was dealt damage by Hope this turn can't cast non-creature spells. So you hit somebody with it, sack it, and then it's a silence effect for them. Sarah's Ascendant, just a little 1-drop human monk 1/1 for 1 white. That's all. Oh wait, as long as you have 30 or more life, it's a 5/5 and it has flying. So it's a 6/6 flying lifelinker as long as you get to play this early. One of the best cards. Toski, Bearer of Secrets, 3 colorless, 1 green, legendary creature squirrel, 1/1, can't be countered, indestructible, attacks each combat if able, I don't know why I said 2. And whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Safi, Eric's Daughter, green, white, human scout 2/2, you can sack it, and if a creature is put into the graveyard this turn, instead return it back to the battlefield. So it's a good protection spell. Birds of Paradise, the second best art for Birds of Paradise in my opinion. 1 green, you get to summon mana birds. They're 0/1 flyer, you can tap add 1 mana of any color. Changeling Outcast, 1 black, Shapeshifter 1/1 Changeling, can't be blocked and can't block. Llanowar Elves, 1 green, Elf Druid 1/1 that taps for green. Deathrite Shaman, one of the Secret Lair arts I believe this was, or Magic 30 I think actually, anniversary. It's a hybrid black-green, Elf Shaman. It's got 3 abilities. You can exile a card from a graveyard, add 1 mana, pay 1 black, tap, sacrifice it, or exile an instant or sorcery card from a graveyard, each opponent loses 2 life, or green, tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard, you gain 2 life. Mostly you're going to be exiling the land, but it's got some versatility to it. Unearth, just one of my favorite cards in general. Another good card. 1 black, return target creature card, mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. And it also has cycle, so if it's a dead card, you just get rid of it. Destiny Spinner, 1 colorless, 1 green, enchantment, creature, human creatures, and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. It is a 2/3, and it can also animate a land if you want, but it's mostly there so stuff can't be countered. That's about it. Boom Tender, 1 colorless, 1 green, Elf Druid 1/1, tap, add color for each color amongst permanents you control, which is going to be 3 most of the time. Elves of Deep Shadow, 1 green, Elf Druid 1/1, the taps, adds a black, deals 1 damage to you. Lorana the Third Path, a card that everybody in my playgroup and local store thought was kind of junk, that's now way up in price, thank you. 2 colorless, 1 white, legendary creature, human artificer 2/1 vigilance, that when it ETBs blow up to 1 target artifact or enchantment up, and then you can tap it, you and target opponent each draw a card. Path to Exile, this is the promo version, but it's exile target creature, their owner gets to search for a land, place it on a basic land, place it on the battlefield tapped. It's a 1 white instant. Majestic Genesis, this is a card I'm trying out in the deck. 6 colorless, 2 green, reveal the top X cards of your library where X is the greatest mana value amongst commander you own, or on the battlefield, or in the command zone. You may put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest of the bottom library in random order. So this is going to be reveal the top 8, put all of them into play, essentially. Sanctum Weaver, 1 colorless, 1 green, enchantment Dryad 0/2 that taps and adds X of any color, any 1 color where X is the number of enchantments you control. Haywire Might, 1 colorless, artifact insect 1/1 that when it dies you gain 2 life, pay a green, sack it, exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Chroma's Will, 3 colorless, 1 white, instant. You get to choose 1, or if you control your commander, you get to choose both. You're going to, if you have your commander out, you're going to give flying, vigilance, double strike, lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors to all of your creatures at instant speed. Very good. Nethroi, my favorite, probably my favorite card in the deck, other than Starlight Spectacle, I think it was. 2 colorless, 1 white, 1 black, 1 green, Cat Nightmare Beast 5/5. It does Death Touch and Lifelink, but you can mutate it. If you mutate this onto a creature, when it mutates, you return any number of target creature cards with power 10 or less from your graveyard to your battlefield. If you noticed, a lot of these are low to the grounds, 1s, 2s, even 0s, so you're going to return most of your creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. Beast Within, just 2 colorless, 1 green, destroy target permanent, they get a 3/3, and then Mana Crypt, the 0-drop gives you 2 mana. So, as you can see, the deck is fairly straightforward. There isn't too much craziness, wacky shenanigans going on. I just wanted to build a deck that draws cards, plays a lot of creatures, and does it over and over and over again until I win. The deck overall plays very well. It's very consistent. I really don't have an issue drawing too many cards. I'm usually able to get into at least 2 players every turn and draw 2 cards, play more creatures out, and actually I've been able to use Kamal's Bottom ability quite a few times to animate my lands and win games just based on that alone. So if you're looking for something pretty straightforward, fighter deck, kind of one of those things where you're just going to throw your hand out every turn, then you guys might want to look into this. Tymna in general has a ton that this can work around, especially with blue. I just like Kamal because I like the ability to be able to buff my board in the command zone. So let me know what you guys think of the deck. Let me know what you guys think of this style, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.